Okay, so I just came home with this old Yamaha yz80. Rear tire doesn't move and the engine is locked up. So we're just gonna pull the spark plug out and let it sit with some WD down the cylinder. Oh, that's a good sign. So this bike was $210. I guess with the sales tax and the auction premiums, it was probably closer to $300. But it's been sitting a while. So you can see that's all rust. I'm gonna assume water got in the airbox, maybe? I filled it all the way to the top, so it should leak down past the rings. Alright, so this bike is also missing a shifter. So what that could mean is this bike is in gear, and that's why this isn't working. I'm kind of doubting that, but you know, the rear wheel could be seized, but I'm assuming it's just in gear and the engine seized, and that's also why the rear tire is not spinning. Because, well, the rear might be frozen because this brake's not moving. Okay, so I'm just gonna let that sit overnight and let's see what happens. Okay, so I think it's gonna be easier here to take off the sprocket rather than taking off like the wheel or the chain. So if the chain actually would stretch, it'd be easier. Alright, perfect. Alright, so this rear wheel is free. Oh, alright, that bolt snapped. Deal with that later. Alright, so now what I say I try and do, throw a socket on there and see what happens. Look at that. It's kind of freed up. It seems like it goes, it'll get to a certain point and then stop. Pretty hard. Now this bike could be totally blown up. Some could be, you know, blown apart in the bottom end. I have no way of knowing. Look, the kicker will move it a little bit. And then it stops at that point. Oh, look, there it goes. This bike is not locked up anymore. Oh, the kicker doesn't return. If it has spark, it would be a miracle. It has spark. Wow. So there's a very good likelihood that I can get this bike running. The whole goal is not to spend any money. So the fact that it does not need any electrical components fixed is very good. There's a bunch of little things we need to do The kicker is getting stuck on the brake right here. I assume it was probably underwater or something like that. Water got in the rear, the bearings, the brake. I'm gonna assume it's the brake actually. So it could be a good idea for me to take it apart. Now that I know that this bike has its fair shot at running, what I'm gonna do is wash it. The reason I didn't wash it first is because it is close to 0 degrees outside and it kind of would freeze immediately. So what I'm just gonna do, wash it, then bring it inside and deal with it. It just kind of sucks dealing with a sticky, gross bike like this right now, at least, so. Ooh. Okay, so the air box is open. Nice and gross. So it is a rat's nest in there. We're gonna vacuum it out. Alright, so it is above freezing in here, so this thing should dry off because it's all ice right now. Just turned right to ice. I got it a lot cleaner. I'm very happy with that. I also did my best at doing the seat, the plastics, and the fuel tank. But luckily this is a plastic tank and it's actually pretty clean inside. Alright, we're gonna let this dry off and then we're gonna see if we can get it running. I'm gonna let more ATF and oil and any cleaner I can get go down the cylinder, see if it runs. If it fires up, we'll change the oil, clean the carb, and see if we can get it to stay running. All right, so I got a borescope here. We're gonna see what it looks like. So I'm gonna try and, okay, so here we enter. Can't quite read the numbers on it, but there is some rust. You can kind of see the cylinder walls. They have some scoring on them, but they don't look terrible. You can see some witness marks right here on this brake lever. It is hitting this pretty bad, so I assume, yeah, I think there's just a snap ring right here. I pull this brake lever off, and then I should just be able to kick this thing pretty freely. So that brake lever is pulled off. As you can see, it's pretty good. A little bit of starting fluid. Okay, let's see if anything happens. That's not a lot of compression. Alright, we're gonna take the carb off. Oh, I guess I should be careful. I don't want to break the intake. All right, on the intake side of the carburetor, filled up with gunk. The motor side is fine. The cylinder is coated in oil from, me soaking it with stuff. I'll see if it starts up with a drill. I think that's probably the best bet. Well, let me make sure it's spin the right way. Yeah, usually it's always left. Generally, if something has no compression, you can run it like this. Clean the plug. A lot of times they won't run if, the engine's filled with stuff in the chamber. That one's pretty clean in there. Let me clean the spark plug. It's smoking. Alright, so I have some good news here. I have it in neutral, and the sprocket does not spin. Click it down. Okay, so I thought I had good news for you. Oh, I wonder if the clutch is from sitting. Something could be up with the clutch, because it wants to go. This engine might be a full teardown, unfortunately, but it does shift through the gears. It seems like it's, I'm able to kind of find a neutral, so that's good. We're gonna try one more time here to run this thing. I don't want to ruin a drill that costs as much as a dirt bike if I gotta replace it. So, I don't want to end off the video here on a low note like this, but the cylinder's hot. I don't want to end off a video like this. However, I think it needs a top end and possibly a clutch. So here's the thing. Is a bike like this worth that? I don't know. So I think what I'm going to do is just pull off the jug. It's so easy. And it's even easier. It's literally 4 bolts. there's not anything on the bottom that holds the jug on. So it'll be harder for me to take this pipe off than take the cylinder apart. So let's do that. Let's look at it and go from there. Okay, that's off. All right, moment of truth. I don't know, this doesn't seem... I didn't check if you can get parts for a Yamaha this old. I think it's like an 84 or something. Hopefully it has a VIN number on it. I didn't check that. Half these bikes stolen. Oh, that feels good. Kind of. Okay, the clutch cable also mounts to the head. Okay, that. All right, so I'm not gonna claim to be an expert in any of this, but it's awfully dirty here, and that shouldn't be it, so. The piston looks fine too. It's hard to tell anything without cleaning it up too much. Piston ring might be in the wrong spot if they gotta be pointed one way, but oh, there's some liquid in here yet, dipping it upside down. The reeds look fine. Yeah, I don't know. Wonder if I could just get a new piston and rings the same size. Because the crank bearings are good. I think this engine's worth rebuilding. There's a seal right there. An O-ring for the coolant. I should probably change that. I want to take as little apart as I have to on this bike. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. This is gonna be the end of this video for now. I'm gonna go online and see if getting, you know, some cheap Chinese cylinder is cheaper than getting it honed out and a new piston and everything. So I'm gonna check that out. I assume a new piston and a cylinder bore would be around $200. I'll probably just go that route. Then I'd be in this bike around $500. The whole point was to spend no money, but I think that amount of money I could get back out, you know, in the engine if it runs. The engine looks pretty clean. I can't imagine a stock pipe like this would be cheap either, so stay tuned for more because I'd like to get this done.